drab outskirts of Busia town in eastern Uganda are endowed with deposits of gold. Artisanal miners gather here at Tira village to search for this precious mineral. Child labor is prevalent in these mines. There are many risks at gold mines. Often the soils inside the bowels of the earth could cave in and kill miners. But there is the creeping threat of mercury, which is used across the country for those who eke a living in the mines. Mercury, a toxic liquid, wraps itself around the gold hidden in soils to form a silver palette after the process of vaporizing. The liquid that shimmers like a mirage in a desert has far-reaching consequences on the health of miners.
Era ku mirimo gye tukola ku gold tubadde tukozesa mercury mu kukwata gold oyo. Naye ku biseera bimaze nga nkola mu gold ndabe nga ntandika kunafuwa ku mubiri gwange. Ndaba amaaso gagenda nga gakendeera, amatu nga sibulira bulungi. Ekyo kye kizibu kye ndaba ate n'okukankana nkankana nnyo. Oba ekkalaamu ng'ompa sisobola kuwandiika, caayi ng'okunywa sisobola kunywa caayi ng'ejjudde nnyo. Ekyo kye kizibu kye ndaba.
Oba oliawo bwebanga musobola okufuna ekintu ekirala kisobola okukwata gold oyo nga si mercury, musobola okuyamba abantu ba wano kulw'okuba nti kati abantu ba wano beeyamba nga bakozesa basima gold. Kuba ebirime wano kati wona byafa. Kayongo yajjamu n'ata ebirime byonna bisinga. Kasooli tabala bulungi. Omuceere tegubala bulungi lwaki? Lwa Kayongo. So n'olwekyo mbasaba nti mulete ekintu ekirala kisobola okukwata gold ekifaananako ne mercury.
Kwa ukweli mimi nilikuwa sijui ati mercury ni mbaya. Wakati ile mwenye tunatumia mercury tulikuwa tunatumia kwa mabeseni, tunaogea kwa beseni. Saa zingine tulikuwa tunapika chakula yetu, wanaleta mali gold wanachomea chini ya moto. Tulikuwa tujui ati moshi ya mercury mwenye natoka chini ya meko naenda kwa chakula. Lakini mimi ninashukuru Mungu kulingana na mafunzo mwenye walituletea kulingana na mercury.
Mercury and its compounds affect the nervous systems, the kidneys, and the cardiovascular system. It also affects developing organ systems such as the fetal nervous system and can cause disability, and in higher doses, it can result into death. There are susceptible subpopulations, including those who are more sensitive to the effects of mercury and those who are exposed to higher levels of mercury, for example, workers with high occupational exposure, such as artisanal miners, and individuals with diseases of the liver, kidney, nervous system, and lung are also at higher risk of suffering from the toxic effects of mercury.
Mercury is a metal which is liquid at room temperature, and it is neurotoxic. We said it is neurotoxic because it damages the nerves and the nervous system of the body. It is nephrotoxic because it damages the kidney system in the body. It is also immunotoxic in that it also damages the defense mechanism of the body. And
those areas in the sub-counties, you find that the local artisan miners are using crude methods of extraction of gold from rocks and soils. And they not only mercury alone, but they are digging open pits which expose to a danger to humans and animals. And worst is the use of mercury, application of mercury. Mercury is very hazardous, it causes cancer. So we as leaders, we have been engaging the communities in telling them, look, this mercury chemical has been outlawed by the laws, by the Ugandan law. So you are not supposed to use it. But you see our people a bit complicated, poverty and all that.
But despite the risks it poses, mercury is widely used across mines in Uganda. This young boy in Namayingo district at one of the gold mines uses his bare hands to mix the mercury with soil particles. Mercury is also in use across mines in Moroto and Mubende districts. Beyond the health risks, mercury affects aquatic life and causes toxic pollution to rivers and soils. Mercury is a persistent pollutant that bioaccumulates, biomagnifies, and biotransforms through the food webs, especially in the aquatic ecosystem.
The tailings, those are the mixtures of the mercury and the water that has been, been processed. When these tailings are thrown, the watery mixtures are thrown on the ground. The water and the mercury seeps to the water tables. Some of it, goes and joins into the water bodies as a runoff when it rains. So when it reaches the water bodies, there are small plants that are called planktons. And these planktons are eaten by small fish. The bigger fish eat the small fish. And eventually they reach the big fish that we buy from the markets.
Is that it's also robbing the citizens of their health, of their life, and their livelihood in the long run because of the contamination of mercury. Yes, it is really true that mercury is highly used in mining in different areas where gold mining is taking place in Uganda, in Karamoja, in Mubende, talk about Busia. And the reason why these small-scale miners actually really use mercury is that it is easy to get. Secondly, it is cheaper than the alternative that is much more secure. It's cheaper. And thirdly is that they actually lack the resources. They are poor. They cannot afford to get the resources that would make them get the rightful equipment.
It is the attitude and the mindset. There are some few of the miners that actually know aware that mercury is bad, but because of lack of alternatives and the fact that mercury is easily accessible, it is a bit cheap, they continue using it. They decide to pay a deaf ear to the effects that are actually living with them, because the whole idea is that this is the only source of income we have. So now if we stop using mercury, what next? And yet we need to process gold.
People are exposed to methyl mercury mainly through their diet, especially through the consumption of freshwater, marine fish, and the consumption of other animals that consume fish, such as marine mammals. In the sub-counties of Buteba and Busitema in Busia, the rivers of Namukombe and Okama have been heavily polluted. Locals reveal that the mining activities have silted and contaminated the water.
Now, as a result, we have lost lives. People die. We have lost animals. This mercury, after using it, when you go to the field, I think you have been in the field, you have seen what is happening, especially the activities going on. After use of this mercury goes back to the rivers, the streams, and flows back to, even it goes up to River Mpologoma and Choga. So this pollution, and the local people, even the LOCs are aware, but now the challenge has been that people, you will tell them, stop. When you go away, they use.
To find that you really find people with tremors, with digestion issues, people who have evidently worked in the mines for quite some time. You find polluted water sources. That is one of the things that really caught my eye, because aside from just talking about this, I was actually able to now really observe it. So the mercury effects are already with us and they are living with us, and it is high time that we addressed them.
As the global toxic pollution poses a danger to the health of human and wildlife, a new treaty on mercury, the Minamata Convention on Mercury, came into effect in 2017. The treaty is named after the Japanese fishing town of Minamata, where a chemical company caused mass mercury poisoning several decades ago. For mining, the convention obligates governments to promote mercury-free gold processing methods, take special measures to protect vulnerable populations from exposure, including children and women of childbearing age, and put to an end to particularly harmful practices in gold processing, such as banning the mercury gold amalgam in residential areas. The United Nations Environment Programme estimates that in 2014, artisanal and small-scale gold miners contributed a 37% share of the man-made emission of mercury to the atmosphere. A study conducted by Uganda National Association of Community Occupational Health, the National Association of Professional Environmentalists, and the Gender, Labour and Social Development Ministry found widespread use of mercury. Using a human health risk assessment for chemicals, the study estimated the likelihood of adverse health effects occurring in an individual subpopulation or population due to exposure to some chemicals such as mercury.
Like, for example, the African mining vision that talks about sustainable mining, but we still see very little that has been done, even though the consent is there and the willingness is there by government, but the real enforcement on ground. We know that there is a new proposed mining minerals bill that is yet to be passed, and it talks of occupation health and safety, but then also it is not so pronounced on some of these things, and maybe what we want is to have these issues really very pronounced in these proposed laws and policies, then the international standards really domesticated to make sure that the enforcement actually happens at all levels, both at local level and then also central at the national level.
It is only organized society that actually easily identify their issue and they can deal with it. It is when they are organized and they are the ones resolving to deal with it that it will be much easier for intervention from government. So supporting the structures of the small-scale miners across this country to be strong so that they will help in mobilizing their membership, they will help in the cascading or taking higher the level of awareness, but they will also help in agreeing with the transformation that is required, which they themselves have participated also in the making of the bill. So that is the second. The third level is for government to now make, to pass the law quickly, but within that, finance the rolling out of the safety standards.
Exposures can be estimated by measuring pollutant levels in various body tissues such as hair, blood, urine or nails as biomarkers, or by using various mathematical models along with input data such as facility release information, fish mercury levels, and dietary patterns. Human exposure can also be estimated through biomonitoring of levels of mercury in various foods obtained from selected environmental ecosystems and the consumption patterns by the target communities. Respondents experienced various occupational health-related problems, including injuries, mercury-related effects on the body, including fatigue and stress, headaches, chest pain, heart problems, and elevated blood pressure and eye problems. More mercury-related effects on the body were reported by women who are mainly involved in the panning process, which is one of the stages where mercury is used. Some youth also reported to experience these problems. Artisanal small-scale miners described various perceived occupational health hazards related to their work, including dust, heavy loads, exposure to mercury, lack of safety equipment, noise, accidents, and injuries. Exposure to mercury was one of the least mentioned occupational health hazards among the small-scale gold miners. This could be attributed to limited knowledge on the harm of mercury. Mercury was mentioned as the commonest chemical used in gold extraction by artisanal small-scale gold miners. According to statistics, the eastern region led with 88.2%, revealing that they worked directly with mercury. Karamoja came second with 86.27%. The Central Region was third with 72.5%, and the Western Region was the lowest with 36.84%. The study reveals that there was exposure of mercury through diet foods in these mining communities, including vegetables at 95.1%, red meat at 86.7%, fruits at 80.85%, rice at 73.65%, eggs at 63.57%, and chicken at 47.41%. Blood, urine, soils, crop, fish, and water samples were also analyzed. Traces of mercury were also found in tilapia at 79.59%, silverfish at 79.12%, and Nile perch at 55.38%. Toxicology reports showed a threshold of mercury in urine. 21.8% respondents had above thresholds and 78.13% were below the threshold. 40% respondents were above the threshold of mercury in blood, while 60% were below the threshold. For many artisanal miners, mercury appears to be a cheaper option in the extraction of gold, but it's too costly in the long run as tons of the toxic chemical are spewed to the detriment of communities that live near the mines. Emmanuel Mutaizibwa, NTV.